just in case this winds up on another part of the internet. Well, with that, guys, we are going to go ahead and switch over and let's do the news. Our top story today are these balance changes that have hit a large number of ships. Now, this is news from a few days ago. Some of you guys may have already read this, and if so, well, when we get there, you won't be surprised. But if this is new information, you'll get a kick out of it. But first, let's go over and check out story number 2. Some test ships have received changes. Now, this is important. We've got the upcoming French battleships. We won't dwell on this for very long. But what's interesting that we're seeing here is a heavy increase in armor to, I think, all of these ships. If we look at Toulon, which is the premium, Cherbourg, Brest, Marseille, and, well, that's San Diego. We'll get to San Diego in a minute. But all 4 of these new French heavy cruisers that are coming into the game have gotten relatively significant armor increases. The deck armor is going up 5 millimeters on Toulon, 3 on Cherbourg, 3 on Brest, and 6 millimeters on Marseille. Deck armor, Citadel deck armor, I should say, is going up 10 millimeters on the first 2 ships, then 5, and then 10. This is a big armor buff that we are getting with the ships here on for these upcoming French cruisers. Now, of course, we don't know a whole lot about what's going on in test with these ships, but to see an armor buff like that is very interesting, especially given how strong that armor is. We're also seeing an adjustment to the USS San Diego. Now, San Diego is a Atlanta-like cruiser that has SAP. It's sort of like a SAP version of Atlanta or a down-tiered version of Austin, depending on how you want to look at it. The SAP damage is being reduced fairly drastically on San Diego. It's going from 2,500 max shell damage down to 1,950, a difference of 550 damage per shell. And the main battery reload time is going up a quarter second. So we're seeing damage come down, reloads go up. Those are both nerfs that we're seeing come to San Diego. We'll also take a look at the airstrike reload time for depth charges on the French ships is all being cut way down. So it's coming from 60 seconds down to 30, 90 seconds to 45, 90 to 45, 90 to 45. That's a big buff to the French cruisers that are coming in. There are some changes to Aquila. I haven't been following Aquila that much, but I definitely recommend if you guys are interested in this article if you're interested in the Aquila, swing on over and check out that article. I dropped the link in the chat there for anybody on Twitch, and if you're watching this later on YouTube, I'll include the link to the article down below. We go back to our top story. This is the big one here. We are talking about a series of adjustments to ships that have been in the game for a long time. This is big. Wargaming doesn't do this many changes this often, and so here we go. Let's talk about it. Chkalov, Petropavlovsk, Yueyang, Des Moines, and other ships is what it says. This is going into 11.4's closed testing, and we'll see it on some release that follows. Des Moines is having a nerf to its surveillance radar time. It's about damn time. This has been a problem in this game for like 5 years, and it got worse when they were able to really extend the duration of this radar with captain perks back when they did that almost 2 years ago now. This is a huge change, and it's going to be, hallelujah, say all the destroyer players. Right now these players on the Des Moines can push their radar up to in the 50s of seconds. This is a huge change. That said, I think a lot of Des Moines players are going to be sad about it. They're going to be really bummed, and this is going to affect the way that people do their Des Moines builds going forward. I think some people are still going to want to stretch that radar out, and 35 seconds plus all of the buffs is still going to be a pretty good duration of radar. It'll still be among the best durations in the game. So this is not going to make Des Moines weak, but it will make it less capable of making sure that every destroyer within its range dies. The other thing, and I love this so much, thank you so much. This is for players who just unlocked their Des Moines. It's going to make the surveillance radar the default selected consumable in the slot. I think you can swap it for like turbo AA. What's that actually called? AA focus fire or whatever. It'll be the default selected item because everybody wants surveillance radar. It might as well be the default choice. Same thing has happened in Buffalo. We're reducing from 35 seconds to 30. Des Moines went from 40 to 35. And the same thing. We're going to put the, thank you, defensive AA fire. Thank you, Hsienyang, and others. You guys are great. Yes, I always call it Turbo AA. I've been calling it Turbo AA for 6 years. That's just not going to change. I apologize. So Buffalo is going from 35 seconds down to 30. And the same thing. Surveillance radar is going to be the default consumable in that slot. Baltimore is seeing the same treatment. It's going from 27 seconds down to 25. So again, adjustments across all three of those ships. Harbin's Sigma is being reduced from 2.05 to 2. That is a nerf. So Sigma numbers we want to be higher. This one is becoming lower. I don't think Harbin is that inaccurate at 205, and I don't think it's going to be bad at 2.0. But Wargaming seems to think that we need to make an adjustment to Harbin's accuracy. So not a huge problem. Turbo AA is what they called Clyde in high school. That's hilarious. That is very hilarious. The United States is getting a nerf to its tactical attack squadron preparation time. So a 10-second nerf to how long it takes to get those airplanes ready. And the torpedo squadron time is being nerfed by 20 seconds in terms of its preparation. So that is a nerf to the United States. And we're seeing similar nerfs to Eagle. Tactical attack and torpedo squadrons going up 10 seconds each on this one. This next one's probably surprising a lot of people too. Petropavlovsk is seeing a deck armor reduction from 50 millimeters, which is a lot of millimeters, okay? It's going from 50 millimeters down to 40. That's a pretty big nerf, actually. There's going to be people who are going to be able to get shells through that deck who couldn't before as a result of that 10 millimeter nerf. And the casemate armor is also being reduced. Casemate is kind of on the side, right? And so that's actually going to help with shots from range or shots up close. Petro is about to be a little less tanky. Henri is getting a small buff, 0.7 seconds of improvement to its rudder shift time. So Henri is a ship that got a rudder shift nerf a long time ago. I don't know how much the nerf was. I can't remember. I think it was more than this because she used to be able to really rudder juke out there and dance and dodge shells. She can still do it, but this is going to help. And I think this may make some folks try to dust off the old Henri again and fall in love with that ship again. It's a good boat, and I think this is going to make it just a little bit better. I wish, of course, it was 6 seconds, but I'll take 11.2. It's better than 11.9. Ragnar is having a main battery increase from 3.2 to 3.4. This is my least favorite adjustment on this list. I have Ragnar. Ragnar is fantastic, and I don't want it to be nerfed. So this is me acting like the Des Moines captains are probably acting right now, which is boo, Wargaming, boo on your Ragnar nerf. But I understand it. Ragnar is very powerful. 152 millimeter guns, or 150 flats. I don't remember what they are, but they're 150s, and they're reloading in 3.2 seconds. That's awfully fast, people. So I understand this nerf, but I don't want them nerfing my boats. Come on. Next up, we got some Pan-Asian love, as Brand says. Hsienyang, Chung Mu, and Yueyang rejoice. We are getting the torpedo reload booster consumable on these ships. You're getting 2 charges with a 6-minute cooldown. That's a long time, but torpedo reload booster is a great add for these ships. This is a line that not very many people play, and I think this could make these ships a lot more competitive, certainly in randoms, if not in other modes. Me and Scott are big fans of Chung Mu. I actually like Hsienyang as well. Yueyang, for some reason, not so much, but all these ships with a reload booster could be really, really nice. Oh, I'm sorry, 5 minutes. Thank you, Bowmaster. 360 seconds would be 6 minutes. I can't do math. Zorkiy is getting a torpedo range increase from 8 to 10 kilometers. That's great. Zorkiy could probably benefit from that. Let's just put that on the Kaba too, please. Grozovoi, I like this one too, because I'm a big fan of the Grozovoi. Range of researchable torpedoes is being increased from 10 to 12 kilometers. So Grozovoi is a great ship. It's got a 6-kilometer detect. Giving it 12K torps is really nice. It turns that 4-kilometer detectability range that you're working with into a 6K detectability range. And I think that's going to make Grozovoi an even more powerful ship in terms of its comparison, particularly against other Russian destroyers. If you guys haven't watched it, I've got an in-depth analysis that compares Grozovoi versus Grozovoi with legendary module versus Khabarovsk with legendary module versus Delny. And you may be surprised which one comes out on top after a little data-driven analysis. It's not perfect, but it's a great way to kind of take a look at those ships and really say which one of these is the most capable, most powerful ship. And I think this 12-kilometer torpedo range is going to, add more points to Grozovoi's score there. So check that video out if you're interested. Belfast 43. Who was it that was complaining about Belfast earlier? Was that TJ? Was that Warco? Somebody said Belfast, terrible boat. Well, you're in luck. It's getting a reload buff, so all your problems are solved. Belfast 43 is getting a nice little half-second reload buff. Honestly, Belfast 43's reload is a little bit rough, honestly. At 10 seconds, it's still going to be a little rough, but it'll be pretty good. Admiral Hipper is getting a reload buff as well, about a half second. Tallinn is getting a half second reload buff. And then Chkalov, the premium tier 8 Russian aircraft carrier, is getting a maximum torpedo damage reduction. In other words, a nerf from 5,200 down to 4,666. Skip bombs are coming down a little bit too. From 8,700 to 7,500. That's actually quite a chunk of their damage coming down. And the fire chance is coming down 6% from 49 to 43. That is the buffs. That is the nerfs. Some of them I like, some of them I don't. I imagine you guys have similar opinions. And I would absolutely love to hear about them in chat right now or in the comments below if you're watching this later on YouTube. Guys, if you're watching this on YouTube later and you've never come to a live show, please do. There are a bunch of wonderful people in chat who would love to engage with you live. We do this 3 times a week, 2 nights and 1 morning. So Saturday mornings and then 2 weekday evenings. One of those times almost certainly works for your schedule. We'd love to have you come hang out with us. So until next time, I will catch you all later. And right now we're going to head back on and play a couple of more games of World of Warships. Thank you so much for watching. Goodbye!
This has been the news on Clyde Plays Live.
I'm going to read the one here from Alan SOX. He says, tell them to come watch you live so I can draw them like I'm a French sheeps. And I'm never going to speak like that again until I decide that I need to. All right, let me catch up on chat. You guys were going ham there for a minute.